everyone, let's dive into the word. So in today's gospel, we hear about St. Thomas, someone that we're very familiar with, him being doubting Thomas. And I believe this topic is just so apt to us right now, really because we are facing so much of uncertainty with the pandemic, with our current political system. I believe each of us have, certain doubts or other doubts that are, coming into the way of from different areas in our lives, such as our relationships, in our families, our friendships, our work, and in all these situations we can doubt, and I'm pretty sure we are doubting. We're doubting, is the pandemic gonna end? We're doubting, is our government really for us, or do they have some political agenda? We are doubting maybe ourselves. Can we really go through this season for a few more months or maybe years to come? We may be doubting God and questioning God as well. God, are you really there for us? Do you really exist? Like, if you do love us, then why not doing anything about our current situation? And yeah, all these situations will naturally cause us to doubt. But for us as Christians, we are not called to allow doubt to fester and grow within us. We actually, because we have God, we can overcome doubt and take control of our doubt. So to understand doubt a little bit, from a psychological perspective, when a doubt comes into our minds, sometimes that could mean like, two conflicting kind of thoughts that impacts consistency and persistence. We like that, right? We like things to be consistent, we like things to be persistent. But when something happens that makes things really uncertain, that causes a lot of doubt, right? So when that comes into our mind, that creates what we call what psychologists call a cognitive dissonance, where that that kind of like that conflictingness within us, which can really pollute our mind. And a lot of times when we're in that kind of like position, very naturally our brain is wired to actually defend. So it kind of goes into this defend, or it kind of triggers this defense mechanism, a very instinctual kind of like defense mechanism, which usually it's like triggered when there's physical threats, but it can also be triggered when in this kind of like situations as well, when you don't actually have a physical threat but the threat feels like a threat, and from that like when that is triggered, then we can go into kind of like a fight or flight response, and either we give in to our doubt and allow the doubt to grow and fester, and that could lead to us being very unhappy, being very fearful, very worried, anxious, or it could lead us to actually wanting to run away from our current situation as well. Yeah, so when we experience this kind of fight or flight response, that can kind of affect our reasoning system as well. So on the end, that doubt really robs us of our confidence, our hope, our joy. But what can happen when we actually fight doubt? When we actually work through the doubt and push through the doubt, rise above the doubt. When we do that, God will rejoice. You see in today's gospel, when the moment when Thomas said, okay, Lord, I believe, you're my God and like my all, immediately you see God responding to him right away and revealing himself to him. So God does not doubt us. Most of the time it's us doubting God. We also see, that God does not doubt us in the first course, in the first reading, where it said that, where St. Paul says, you're no longer strangers and sojourners, you are fellow citizens with holy ones, and members of the household of God. So that is that is something that cannot change, regardless of whether we're feeling down or not. But of course, we don't want to take that for granted, right? We shouldn't take that for granted. That, we can be whatever we want, because God will love us regardless. That's not the right way to approach this. But what we really want is to not be slave to our doubts, not let it fester and grow into like bitterness, or allow it to rob us of our joy. So even in this time, we can exercise faith, exercise our faith to fight doubt. And one easy thing, one really simple thing that we may sometimes, in our frustrations, in our worry, in our doubt, basically, we may forget to actually bring these doubts to God, and actually allow God to show us that there's more to this doubt, there's more to the situation than actually just looking at it from a doubtful or skeptical or pessimistic kind of position. So I would like to encourage you, brothers and sisters, bring your doubts to God, bring it to Him. He's ready to respond to you. And He says in the gospel today as well, blessed is he who have not seen yet believe. God will bless you if even in your struggle you choose to believe, you choose to exercise faith. God will do wonders, and He will change our perspective. He will give us hope once again, hope that can not be stolen by the current circumstances, hope that will drive us to action, drive us to loving others. And that's what God wants of us, especially in this time right now. So I just pray that we will be able to see beyond our doubts and trust in God, especially during this time. Thank you, brothers and sisters. God bless and have a blessed day.